Hey everybody, welcome to another DSP video. As you could probably tell, I am on a different computer making this video, so that might be why you'll see a quality difference between the last DSP video and this one, but it should be fine overall. But let's get into the main subject. I'm gonna watch DSP's crash out on the Spoons drama and DSP arguing about the R word, obviously. This I'm approaching from an outsider's perspective because I don't know what Spoons did. I don't know the situation, what caused this, but it is kind of interesting to say the least because you know every time you ask DSP to apologize, it is like a guarantee crash out. Like, first off, it does have to be a situation where he would have to apologize or he should. And then you ask him to apologize, he'll always crash out no matter what. Because obviously, if you ask him to apologize and there's nothing to apologize for, like, you're not going to get anything. But this is something that I do think is understandable from what I am to understand happened, that he should apologize. And the way he even tells the story, it is still like worthwhile for DSP to apologize. But again, if you want DSP to go on a rant and get pissed off, just ask him to apologize and he will be pissed off. Like it happened with him again with Lavinia, uh Third Eye the Third. I think it was Third Eye the Third. It was like during Half-Life 2. Uh Someone asked DSP to apologize and he said, apologize for fucking what? Like this dude hates the concept of apologizing. He will never apologize unless he can use it to make himself look good. Like if he could say like he does about his old content. Guys, I am sorry. My content back then was hurtful and stupid. Now I make meaningful content. Like that's like a marketable apology. That's the only apology he'll ever do. But he will never do an apology that is actually genuine. Ever. Ever. But anyways, let's get into it. Let's get into how he describes this little drama with Spoons. With his music.
Play the clip you yelled at him. That's not a rational explanation.
So he's asking, like, I do, like, give me a rational explanation as to why I should apologize or whatever. Dude said, watch the clip. Which I'd argue is a rational response. Think about it. You don't, like, he could watch it and then see why people may ask him to apologize, because I'm assuming this dude was yelling during a fighting game stream saying, oh my god, Spoons, fucking mod, ah! Like whatever, because this dude always yells at his mods. But it's kind of funny over the years that this dude has gotten probably more toxic towards his mods. Like, because I remember back then he would just say, guys, like, do I have any mods? Guys, can you, like, handle this or whatever? But now it's just straight up, like, spoiled brat mentality when it comes to the mods. That's kind of what this sounds like to me.
Whatsoever.
But it's like, it is reasonable because he could watch the clip and then he could maybe understand why people are asking him to apologize, right? Correct?
You literally yelled at him. You were insanely rude. Okay, so let me get this straight. I'm streaming.
And again, well, listen to this.
Fighting games. Okay.
I'm streaming fighting games, okay?
I'm turned to my chats. On the YouTube side, the chat's completely under control, rational. People are talking about the game. People are having conversation. They're enjoying their time. On the Kick side, where I had just modded Spoons the day before.
Okay. Spoons is a day-old mod. Day old. He's a day old. And also keep in mind, for like ever since he started streaming on Kick, he always said, Kick is supposed to be the least modded chat. It's a chat that's meant to be like trolling and razzing. Now, I'll arguably, you may say, well, Theo, maybe the chat was spamming like the N-word or stuff like that. Okay, fine. But here's the problem with how DSP describes all of this, right? Because he says, oh, the YouTube chat is like it's like moderated and this, that. Yeah, like that's the chat that he told us is supposed to be intellectual, meaningful chat. The kick chat's supposed to be like razzing, correct? And he said this for years. So how is Spoons supposed to react to that, right? Like, let's say you're a mod in kick chat for DSP, and DSP keeps saying how kick chat's supposed to be like the razzing chat, the rowdy chat, and this, that. So how are you supposed to moderate that? See, this is why I do think in the long term that this idea of kick chat's supposed to be the rowdy chat is like the dumbest outlook to have. Like, if he wants it to be more like razzing or whatever, fine. But at least like have hard lines as to what is allowed and what's not, because he keeps saying like, well, obviously this is not allowed, and it's like something that he allowed other people to get away with, right? Like 220, which is who got unbanned through a technicality through Furbs, right? He's not banning him again. Meanwhile, he has like cried how 220 faked a viewer's death, did weird shit or whatever the fuck, and it's like you're not gonna have a hard line to ban him. Like, sure, you can still give him money through subs or whatever, but if the idea is supposed to be like, I don't want this guy in my chat, then shouldn't he have just been banned immediately? Like, it just seems very inconsistent. And then there are people who will say stuff that is complete troll bait, that gets to stay in chat, then someone else say the same thing and they'll be banned immediately. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. If you want the chat to be like rowdy or whatever, fine, but at least like explain consistently what it is. But this issue with the moderation is the same even on YouTube. Like, maybe not to a lesser extent, but he has always had this inconsistent modship uh nonsense. Like, look at like the what was that game he played that was like from people who did like Until Dawn? The one in space, whatever. He played that and he was like, "Guys, you're spamming." And it's like, okay, if they're spamming and like being rowdy, then ban them, like, or time them out. But he would just sit there and like scold them like a school teacher. Like, that's not kind of how you moderate your chat, right? Like, you should time them out or ban them if they're continuing the bad behavior. But he just doesn't want to moderate, and it's like, dude, you're running a stream. That's part of the job. Like, you're supposed to look at the chat and moderate it for how you want the chat to like be. And he has said this numerous times. There are so many cases of him yelling at kick chat for not being a meaningful chat. Like, there was that other game he played, like, was it Torment Souls 2 or was it another horror like game? But he yelled at his chat for not for getting in the way. This is around the Aspen bump too, where he was like, "You're making the chat unwelcome to new viewers." It's like, okay, but you allow the chat to be that way. And then he yells at them, and then the next week, yeah, guys, it's the unmoderable chat tube. That's the point. And it's like, what do you want? What do you want with this chat? Like, you can't have this. It's whatever I want it to be attitude, and then be surprised when it's like the monster you made it to be, right?
The chat is flying at a mile a minute, monstrous amounts of spam, and literally it's all hateful speech.
Okay, it's spam, right? So if that's against the chat, shouldn't that just be moderated off the bat? Like, I thought spam wasn't allowed. He has as part of the rules of his chat. Why does he time these people out? And then he says, "Oh, well, it's not just spam; it's spam of hateful speech." What is it, hateful
Spoons
speech?
the day before, the chat is flying at a mile a minute, monstrous amounts of spam, and literally it's all hateful speech.
Hateful speech. What is the hateful speech? Like, this is my problem. See, I didn't watch the stream. I don't know the chat replay. I don't know anything. But he's talking about it as if they were like saying they were dropping Italian slurs at him and saying that they're gonna kill him, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. whatever, as he's like telling the story. But I feel if I go back into like if I find like raw fill or whatever, or a form of raw fill or whatever, go to a Tevin restream of that night, and I look at the chat, I'm gonna assume it's just either emotes of like the Patrick thumbs down thing, or people saying nothing I could do, or whatever, or saying gout or whatever. Like just very specific DSP memes. And of course you could say the intent of it is negative, but again, I thought the whole point of the kick chat is to be trolling. And again, this guy who he modded like a day before is only a day old of being mod. So maybe people are calling him rude is because he's expecting a mod that he just modded to do a lot of work immediately. Like how was Spoon supposed to know? I'm partly tempted to find the Tevin restream and to look at the chat. Like, what was so toxic? Like, were they dropping the N word? Were they dropping Italian slurs? Slurs towards Italians? But I don't think that's what happened. I don't trust DSP because he has said this about so many things. And then you go back and look at it, and it's like, oh, Phil is stupid. Phil is fat. Phil has gout. And he's acting as if they're dropping like the N-word. Like, come on.
It's all like things that is not allowed. Okay? Outright stuff that no chat would allow. It's heinous stuff. And Spoons is literally just fucking sitting there doing nothing. He's talking in it. So it's not like, oh, he wasn't there. He was chatting. And he was ignoring the entire chat. He basically was like, oh, well, Phil's not paying attention, so I don't have to mod. Meanwhile, he was very happy to put up polls and things for.
Now, listen to this, right? I want you to keep this in mind. He is first off, pay attention to the tone he's gonna say this in, but also just remember, Spoons did polls. He changed the title of the stream for him. All this stuff. He did everything except like moderate the things DSP want him to mod, right? But he did all these other things. So just keep that in mind. But also keep in mind the tone that he's about to say.
His buddies to vote on, ignoring the entire chat. He basically was like, oh, well, Phil's not paying attention, so I don't have to mod. Meanwhile, he was very happy to put up polls and things for his buddies to vote on.
For his buddies. I really like that this dude, every time something happens in his community, he keeps trying to paint that these other people are forming a boys club in his community. First off, DSP created the boys club. That's how he described the kick chat. He described the kick chat as the boys club, and that's like the point of it, or whatever the fuck. But he keeps painting this as, oh, they're a boys club, and then I'm like, well, he also said he doesn't want that in his community, right? So why does this always happen? Because he lets it happen. Now, sure, you may say, Theo, it sounds like you're victim blaming Philip. But look, it's his chat. It's his community. It's his responsibility to really pay attention to what his chat is doing. Right? It's not Spoons' responsibility. He's a mod. But DSP modded him. Like it's sure, you can mod a bad person who may not be a good mod. But at the same time, you do share the blame in the sense that you should have done at least a little more vetting or thought into who you're modding. I don't know the relationship between him and Spoons as to why DC's modded Spoons, but also keep in mind, Spoons did not show up after that night, and DSP is so quick to say that, oh, well, Spoons did that for his buddies. Like, just think about that. He thinks that all Spoons did was stuff for his buddies. But then at the same time, like, he would ban someone, and then DSP would roll over for the chat because the chat would actually like protest the ban, and he doesn't like ban these people who are spamming and protest, right? Like this dude is so like broken over the accusation of him being his chat's being a Nazi chat. But the thing is, a lot of the times that some of this has come from are people who are gonna naturally say it out of being upset that he banned them. But the other thing is to keep in mind is the context. Like if someone look, let's go to something recent, right? Look at the Dark Souls stream, right? All these trolls went to Dark Souls and DSP rage quit just enough times for the game to uh to ban him from online, right? People can understand. Well, yeah, DSP's like rage quitting because like these people kept logging in to making it like unreasonable for him to play, basically, right? Like uh and that is like, okay, either you wanted to keep invading him to chase him offline, or you're gonna like, invade once in a while to like troll him but have him stay online, right? Like it's one of those things, like one's an active choice. And that's what happened. No one is sitting there like people are gonna like call these be a bitch regardless, but people can also read what happened and say, well, people were kind of like invading like an insane amount, and they can find it funny. Like that's what's gonna happen. And if he's banning people that are like clearly just spamming the chat, like they're gonna say, "Oh, he's spamming these people, is banning these people are spamming the chat, whatever." That's all that's gonna happen, honestly. And that's his responsibility to deal with. I do think to a degree there's a very dumb part of him that thinks that if he starts banning people on Kick, because he sees a lot of people on Kick as Kino Casino fans, and he thinks that if he bans them, they're gonna run to Kino Casino, and Kino Casino is gonna like quadruple down being evil to Phil. Like they're gonna like just decide to up the ante of bullying Phil, even though like I don't think they would, because at the end of the day, like Kino Casino knows that DSP is their plaything basically. So of course they're not gonna really do anything outside of like what they're doing now. Uh, the only way they'd ever up the ante or be more negative to Phil is probably if Phil like goes directly towards them, not to his own viewers, right? Like that's probably what would happen in that situation. Not, oh, he's banning people, okay, now we're gonna up the ante. No, they're probably gonna like go more at him if DSP like goes after them. Most likely.
with channel points and stuff. But when it actually came to the moderation part of the moderation, he didn't do it. So I said to him, Spoons, what are you doing? Like, I literally just modded you for exactly this purpose. The chat is completely out.
But again, this is like first day of the job. He didn't think maybe he should say, "Hey, Spoons, by the way, like what this kind of spam should be banned." Because again, he had this Kick chat for like years at this point, saying, the Kick chat is supposed to be the troll razzing chat." So what is like Spoons supposed to think about when he's in that chat? Correct?
Out of control. You gotta moderate. Why are you
You
not
gotta
doing your job?
moderate.
And then I turned back and I played games. That was it. So if you think that me literally saying you're not doing your job, you've got to do it, and then going back to gaming is an offensive thing,
No, that's not offensive. It's offensive that you were yelling at him and probably what he was saying to him. Like, again, at the end of the day, basically, I will like kind of level and say, well, he was playing a fighting game and maybe he was heated, right? Maybe. But again, he's playing boomer collections of games that he's like good at. So I don't know how much to believe that he was raging and shit, right? If it was Street Fighter 6, I'd probably believe it more. But he could have just, and again, like it would have probably been like look how he's reacting to just being asked to apologize. He could just say like, okay, yeah, man, like I'm sorry I yelled, but like you should have just banned the spam. Like if you didn't know that the type of shit that they were spamming, that should have been banned. That should have been a bannable offense, right, or whatever. Like it's just for a guy who understands how you can use apologies to like um make himself look cool and human. He doesn't do it in actual situations that would actually make sense, right? And it's kind of sad that probably someone would have to tell him to do that. Like at the end of the day, someone would have to tell Phil to do that for him to think about it.
you're a sissy. Okay, you're a
And then he calls them a sissy. It's so funny that like he is saying this right after saying that the stuff that they were saying in chat was mean.
sissy.
Okay.
You're a crybaby. So maybe we don't need sissies and crybabies around here. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, how sensitive can you be?
Like again, I love that he's calling these people like sissies for just thinking that he should apologize for being rude to Spoons. Like you could argue that maybe these people are asking for an apology are being disingenuous and are just saying it for the sake of saying it. But at the same time, like it's the same shit I said about the War Dog leader thing and all this other stuff, is that you should just look at the situation and ask yourself, is it worth crashing out? Like, honestly, let's say that you're in DSP's shoes and people are like yelling at you to apologize. Like, is it worth like yelling at your own chat and calling them sissies about it, or just say, "Oh, I'm sorry" or whatever? Like, obviously, sure, people may not like believe his apology or whatever, but at the end of the day, like if they don't accept that apology, right? Let's assume he apologized and they don't accept his apology. What are you gonna do then, right? If the apology isn't good enough for them, then so be it. You said your piece. You can move on. Like, what are they gonna say, right? Oh, his apology sucked. Okay. I mean, like at that point, you can move on and ignore it. Like, come on. Like, I have seen this happen to so many people. Sorry, like I don't know why, like whatever. But you could say, so many times, right? Uh, uh. Oh my god, I'm not getting distracted. I'm sorry. This is a professional video. This is a professional video, guys. But anyways, you could say all you want about uh people not taking people's apologies or whatever, but I have seen people like apologize for things and then that same person say, I don't believe in their apology. Their apology was not sincere enough. Like, and I've seen people like walk like continue their life. Like, this happened years ago at this point. Like, this is like not even relevant anymore. But Mega 64 had a podcast. They made an offensive joke. Someone brought it up and said it was fucked up. They they cut that joke out of a podcast. They apologized for it. And then after they did that, the person still said that wasn't good enough. Did you see Mega 64 like crash out about that? No, they just moved on. The most that happened was the community said, okay, like they apologize in this. Like, you're asking, this is getting a little too much. Like, but that's on the community end, right? That's not them. They didn't do a crash out stream. They didn't like yell at their audience about the situation or anything. They apologized. They edited. They moved on. If the person didn't think that was good enough, that's on them. They did their piece. They're moving on. And that's it. Like, that's all people should do. Like, if you apologize and you think what you said was enough, that's it. If the person don't accept it, they don't accept it. Like, you don't have to live by the acceptance of other people's like, if the other person doesn't accept your apology, so be it. Like, because at the end of the day, if you are genuine in your apology, that's all that matters, and your actions are going to show that. If you're just apologizing for the sake of it, then that's a problem in of itself, and that's going to be very evident in the long run. And that's my issue with DSP. He can apologize all he wants, but the problem keeps happening. Like, he apologized, oh, I was so negative back then. I was so mean, and this and that, and yet there's all these situations where people have a misunderstanding with the things he says, people get upset, and he never learned. He never learned from that situation. And instead of like either stepping away and saying, oh, I get it, I was yelling, I am sorry, or whatever, he just continues the bad behavior over and over and over, which is why I can tell that his apologies are half-assed and not genuine, because if he was genuine with his apologies, he wouldn't be making the same mistakes over and over and over. Like, and I'm not saying like people don't like make the same mistake, but it's just the frequency. Like, it's one thing. Like, let's say you apologize for something you said like 5 years ago, right? Like, let's say right now I say something bad, I say something fucked up, you're mad at me, and then I apologize, and I don't make that mistake. I don't say that thing, but 10 years from now, I say the thing again. I make the same mistake yet again 10 years from now. Now I'm gonna apologize yet again, but the thing is, it's been 10 years. Like, you can at least understand that maybe, like, uh, it was another genuine slip up or a genuine mistake. Like, it's very different when it's like the amount of time that you're making the same mistake is like far, like, few in between or whatever, and another when it's like happening to such a point that it's like, okay, man, this is like a pattern, right? And he doesn't get that. Again, instead of just apologizing and saying like, "Look, maybe I was a little like frustrated, but the thing is like I was seeing all the spam and it was getting on my nerves and I did make him a mod. I'm sorry." Instead of like doing anything like that, he decides to double down and not even apologize. Again, this is why he should have at least watched the clip, because he could at least like see how it may seem from the outside of how it looked, right? But whatever.
Oh my goodness. Let me ask you this. Are you one of those people, you go to the doctor, but if the doctor says you're overweight, you get pissed? Oh!
This is so dumb. He loves his example, but it's not real. Like, this is an example someone would use, but they would omit very key points. Like, they would say, "See how woke and sensitive people are?" But then if you actually like dig deep into what happened, maybe the doctor said something fucked up, and that's what the person's talking about. Think that the McDonald's lawsuit about the hot coffee. On the surface, it sounds really stupid because it's like, "Oh, it's hot coffee. Of course coffee's hot. Are you dumb?" But then when you actually like look into the details, it's like, "Oh no, it actually makes sense why this person's suing McDonald's for the hot coffee, because it was too hot. Like, it was abnormally hot. Like, it was at a temperature it should not have been." And she actually got like burns. Like, you should not be getting like, oh, was it a third-degree burn or whatever from coffee? Like shit like that. And it's like, yeah, when you actually look into the lawsuit, it's actually like understandable. But the surface and how it's reported, it sounds really stupid. And that's what this sounds like. It's like someone saying, "Yeah, my doctor like was saying it was like verbally harassing me and this and then," and people are like, "Pff, wow, you're sensitive." But then you like look at it, the doctor's like literally like saying shit that they shouldn't be saying to someone. Like, and that could maybe happen to people. Like, maybe there's a doctor that says fucked up things, but what's probably happening is, that's probably what's happening. But in reality, I just don't think this happened, because no one gets offended by the term overweight. Like, who does that? Who gets offended by? I've never heard anyone get offended by the term overweight. They may get offended if the doctor's like, "Hey, you fat ass, you fat fucking bitch," but that's probably not what's happening. Because again, I don't think this story happened, but I do want to say that maybe he watched like a YouTube. I feel like it was during a DSP versus the internet video, and he watched it. But again, I do think he's omitting very key points in the video, because I want to say that maybe he watched a video that explained like, yeah, doctors want to use different terms so people are more receptive on what they're saying, and that is very different from, "Oh, they're doing because you don't want because people are sissies." It's like, it's a conundrum a lot of people in like the in this kind of industry, dental, medical, that they run into, where it's like, you go to the dentist wants you to brush your teeth, obviously, and floss and all this stuff. And if you're not doing that, they don't want to sit there and say, "Hey, are you eating garbage all the time? Do you just not brush your teeth?" Like, yeah, you're probably not going to be receptive if they're like, if they're saying stuff that's like that. So they're probably going to try to find ways to make you more like receptive. So maybe instead of saying, "Hey, you're fat," and this, they may say, "Hey, you're overweight," and like, you're over the ideal weight, right? Like, there's all these things that go on in this industry that they have to say so that you're receptive to it, which is fine. Like, I think this reaction to it is kind of stupid, because like there is also a thing to also keep in mind, that people who are like fat or overweight or whatever, it may not be normal for them to suddenly lose like thousands of pounds in a day, or they may be normal in this kind of weight bracket because of their lifestyle. But if they uh but they can lose weight, and that could be unhealthy. Like, there's all these things that happen that's very nuanced, and it only makes sense if, I don't know, you study fucking health or medicine or whatever. Like, at this point, like, this is just a layman just reacting to something and not understanding what's going on. And that's happening a lot, dude. And DC's one of these people that just don't look past the headline. Like, he'll read about the McDonald's lawsuit and not think beyond, well, she sued them for hot coffee? What an idiot. And not go any deeper than that.
What? How dare you? I'm so offended. But I'm the doctor. I'm the one who's supposed to tell you if you're healthy or not. Oh, no!
This dude thinks that, like, being a doctor is, like, a fucking shield to be a shitty person. Because let's assume that this doctor was a piece of shit, right? Let's say this person did not care for, all they saw when they saw the patient walk in was free money, because like, oh, well, the insurance is gonna pay you a lot or whatever. The doctor doesn't give a fuck. Let's say this doctor is a true piece of shit, right? And and like, this person's like, I'm the doctor. You're a fat piece of shit. Like, you think that's gonna fly? You think people are gonna say this is a cool doctor? They're probably not gonna want to show up, because there are such a thing as a shitty person being a doctor. Like, come on. But again, like, DSP is not really the voice of reason here. And again, this story just sounds fake. I'm sorry, it just sounds like a fake story.
Oh, I'm triggered. He was literally modded the day before to moderate the chat.
And it's very ironic he's saying this after saying that people were spamming mean words. And again, like, he is saying this, but you know the words are not like hateful slurs or anything like that. Like, he thinks he's acting like his chat was having a clan rally, when it was probably just people saying, "Oh, Phil sucks. Phil sucks at fighting games," or whatever the fuck. Like, it's probably like making fun of, like, I don't know. I don't know what the meta is to make fun of this guy anymore. That would be acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, maybe they'll say his wife is fat or whatever, but these are just words, and he shouldn't care, right? Right? But this dude is like saying that everyone else are a bunch of sissies for just asking that DSP should apologize. Meanwhile, he is like getting butthurt about his chat saying mean words that was spammed in a chat that he hyped up as a troll chat, a chat that's rowdy, if you will. Like, come on.
If he's not doing that, I'm going to tell him he's not doing it, and he needs to do it. And if he can't,
but why doesn't he tell him like a person? Like this dude gets off to talking to his audience like they're all children. Like it's so obvious the way the only people I've ever seen talk to people like DSP talk to his audience are either parents, abusive people, or teachers, or bad teachers or substitute teachers, basically. Like, that's all I see when DSP talks to his audience. He never talks to them like they're adults or people, which is very funny when he brags about his audience being mature adults.
Handle that simple observation, he shouldn't be a moderator. In fact, I'll make sure he's not a moderator.
Why didn't he just talk to him? Again, like, this is the shit though. This is the kind of shit, like, isn't this why he has mod discords? He emails his mods or whatever. Like, isn't this why you have to have communication with your mods? So you don't have a crash out on stream? Like, he doesn't get the optics of, like, how it looks when you're just yelling at your mod on stream. Like, there's, like, I'm assuming this is a deep, big streamer conspiracy, but there might be a reason why streamers don't, like, spend their time yelling at their mods on stream. Like, there might be a reason for that, I don't know. But someone has to get to the bottom of it. I mean, there's a conspiracy here. Why don't more streamers crash out at their mods? And the ones that do are like lolcows. I love he does the old sassy this, and he got the wrong guy.
But yeah, like, why would I want him as a moderator if he's just going to sit there and not moderate? I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Again, this is one day of the job. And again, he did other things with the mod chip, right? He changed the stream title, he changed the category he was in, he did polls, he did all these things in his own community. The only thing he didn't do was being a mod. You know, you could argue, well, that's what he should do. That's like the majority of the role, and or he should do all the above, right? Like, sure, but maybe he should have more than one mod. And does he have more than one mod anyway? Where were the other mods? Why? Like, again, he's throwing Spoons under the bus, but Spoons is the junior here of being a mod, and shouldn't he at least like give him like an opportunity to redeem himself as a mod? Like, again, why doesn't he just try to say, look, I'm sorry I yelled, but like the stuff that they were spamming is stuff that you should have modded. But instead he yelled at him. Again, this is like why you don't yell at your mods. And then he's like, oh, so are you sissies? But again, like, I'm trying not to watch the clip because I really wanna double down on reacting to this out of what DSP is telling us and this whole situation. But if he was yelling at him, he could at least be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have yelled, but like he should have moderated that, okay, man? Like I'm sorry if I came off, but like, look, dude, I'm playing a fighting game. I saw all this stuff that should have been banned, and you weren't banning it. Like that's one thing. But DSP is just he acts first, thinks never.
Let's see. Here we go. Oh, his name is Spoon Zero. So what I mean, he was here and he was doing the fun parts, right? So he was essentially changing the name and title of the stream when things were changing during the stream, because he thought, oh, it's better to say what Phil's actually doing. And sometimes I would change the game, or I would talk, so he'd go to just chatting. He would do a poll. Oh, let's poll. Everyone use your channel points.
Now remember, when he said this, he first said it. He was doing it for his buddies, like implying that it was like a boys club thing he was doing. And now that he's demodded him, he's saying like, yeah, he did this cool thing. Like he did polls. He helped me with my streams. But now he's trying to say like he's giving him a obituary almost. Like this is the stuff he does all the time when people just don't show up anymore. Yeah, man, they were cool in my chat. I don't know what happened to them. They just lost their mind. But this was like he immediately made, like, it's so funny. We went through the stages of is it grief? I mean, I don't know stages of grief. I know that, but the stages of like of distancing himself from a former fan, mod, or whatever, within a stream. Usually he would say this guy is fucked up. He has he wanted to create a boys club. He was a corrupt mod. Fuck him. And then over time he would then say, yeah, man, he was cool. He did this stuff and then he lost his mind. But we did that in one stream. Now we went from he did this and it was fucked up. Okay, actually this guy was kind of cool. Shame he went crazy. Because like, dude, you went from saying that he did the polls for his friends to, yeah, I mean, he did the fun stuff, he did the cool things, but he didn't mod. But he wasn't modding a chat you said was like a party chat, basically.
To do a poll or whatever. That's fine. But then when it actually came to the moderation, he did none of it. So, oh well.
Oh well. Like, out of all those things, he just didn't do one of the many responsibilities a mod has. Like, shouldn't he have at least put that into consideration as to demodding him? Because at that point, like, I would have just argued, well, he could stay as a mod to do that thing, and then I'll find another mod to actually do the moderation, right? But DSP just is lazy, and again, he could easily have just moderated that. Like, can you just spam? Can you like program auto mod to ban the type of spam that they're doing if it's against the rules? If it's so hateful, because like he has auto ban for like fat, Subaru, whatever. He had that set up. Why couldn't he set up an auto ban for the hateful speech that was being spammed? Like, shouldn't that have been banned already? I don't know if he goes any further. because I think we're wrapping up the Spoons drama a little bit.
You think I should go debate?
No.
Here's the truth. If I were in a debate right now
Oh, this debate shit is so goofy. Listen to this. Get a look at
against
this.
anyone about any topic, I could be 100% right, but because of the nonsense on the internet about me,
The nature of debates is that, like, it's up to the viewer to decide who to agree with, right? Like, the viewer is to determine who they believe. Like, if DSP has valid arguments, they're gonna, like, mention that. And people have done that. Like, that's the other thing. Like, he says that no one takes him seriously, but so many people have given him the benefit of the doubt on so many things, it is insane. Like, and then when people say, like, he's right but he's wrong, is literally when you, like, analyze, like for instance, right? I'm vocal against, like, crunch culture. Like, I don't think there should be crunch to paste, all that stuff, right? When DJ says that, it's like, yeah, I agree with that, but I know for a fact he doesn't believe it. Like, because there's evidence to that. Uh, look at the whole thing with Xbox. He always says, these poor devs, they should be laid off, man. They're just making games. And then the next day, yeah, lay everyone off. Fuck them. They don't do anything. And it's like, yeah, but the people he's been bitching about, for example, are not the people who are getting laid off. Like, he was celebrating, like, all these layoffs that Microsoft has been doing recently, like, around the time then when Bethesda announced Fallout 5 and all that other shit, in the scope of, like, yeah, now they're making actual games and edicts and all this other shit, but they're not laying off the people that DSP, like, has the problem with, right? They're laying off, like, actual, like, coders, people that don't get paid a lot of money, that don't have a safety net. Like, these are not people who have the golden parachute. But he is celebrating these layoffs. Like, he doesn't believe that. All this stuff is all performative. Like, that's all DSP does. Or when he's talking about, like, Don Matrick, right? He praises Don Matrick for thinking ahead about digital distribution and all this other stuff, but he omits the other stuff that Don Matrick said all the time. Like, these are the things that I bring up when he brings up a good point. It's like, well, he does say this, and that does make sense, but he doesn't believe it, or he may get something like wrong through semantics, or he's over, like, he's wrong in certain things or whatever. Like there's these key minute things he's wrong about. But if I say that, you see, they're saying I'm wrong because I'm DSP. It's like, no. It's like he could say, like, oh, well, I've said enough about that. I don't need to keep making examples.
no one would hear it and no one would care. Everyone would just be like,
And then this is the other thing. He is debating. He would go into a debate wanting to debate the person that's there, but all he's thinking about is how other people will perceive the debate. That is, like, not a good mentality to have, right? If you're a person of values and you believe what you say, you shouldn't have to worry about what other people believe. You should only matter what you believe in and think that, well, if what I'm saying is so based that people are going to naturally believe, are going to agree with me, you should not lose sleep over people disagreeing with you if you truly believe what you believe in, right? Like, whatever. Unless he's debating something that he may be factually wrong or whatever. Like the type of debate that people want him to do is, I think, a little out
wrong
there.
because that's Dark Side Phil. So I don't care. And the reason I know that is because all this stuff that people say about me, so much is taken out of context and so much is complete fabricated bullshit, but they all believe it. So I'll give you the perfect example, right? Last year I played Doom the Dark Ages.
This is not a perfect example. This is the furthest from perfect you could get. He would have been closer. I mean, on one hand, I am happy he did not go to the escort, the low-hanging fruit of W's for him. But that is more, like, in service of what he's going for than this. I've played Doom the Dark Ages. I've played this section he was in. He could have just, I'm just gonna say it, he could have shot the barrels before he entered the room, then entered the room, and all, like, the barrels are there so you could use it against the enemies. But he didn't play like that. He thought that the way you play that room is, you just go into cover and you poke out. Now he says cover, mind you, that's not what it is. It's a doorway, like it's outside the door of the room, and he's just kind of poking from the corner and like shooting, poking behind the wall. Like that's what he's doing. That's the gameplay he's sharing with the world. When anyone who played Doom or played any video game would have just had the passing thought, maybe either I shoot the barrels now so they destroy whatever enemies there, or go in the room, start to summon all the enemies, get them all around the explosive barrels, leave the room, shoot the barrels, then enter the room. Like, these are things gamers think about. But DSP didn't think that. Now, instead of, like, admitting that he didn't think about doing that, he instead says, no, you're supposed to play like an idiot. Like, this is not a good example. It's factually not a good example. Anyone who played Doom knows that.
Okay? And the meme they made out of me playing Doom the Dark Ages was a room.
I also want to, like, highlight, right? This dude went on and on and on about how he learned his lesson from laughing at This Is How You Don't Play. Guys, I should have laughed with This Is How You Don't Play, not get butthurt about it. To then getting buttered to the modern day This Is How You Don't Play, which is the game journalist meme. These are just clips that are showing bad gameplay, and look how sensitive he is. He's acting as if there's a right or wrong way to play a game, when this dude literally will tell you there's not a right or wrong way to play video games. But now he's saying that how he played Doom was the right way. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Where the clip is me basically popping out of cover, shooting a few bullets, popping back into cover. Popping out of cover, shooting a few bullets, popping back into cover. And then people are like, wow, DSP's the worst Doom player ever because he's not playing it like Doom. You're supposed to run and gun, go gung-ho, balls to the wall, unload. He's literally not using any of the mechanics of the game. He sucks. What a terrible player. What they don't tell you is that the clip is completely out of context. That moment that happened is a room full of explosive barrels. If you play like normal Doom, they all blow up and you instantly die. I know, because if you watch in context, that's exactly what happened moment.
Yeah, because, well, dude, you went into the room and you stood next to a barrel that explodes. What do you think is gonna happen? Like, this is why, like, we need, like, Atreus in games. Because he needed someone to say, oh, you should shoot the barrel before you enter the room. And then he'd be like, oh! Instead of just thinking that. Like, it's not my fault that the game doesn't hold your hand that hard, DSP. Come on.
Before. So then the second time I was in the room trying it again, because I'd already died, I had to play it ultra safe. It's the only way to beat that room.
The only way? No, that's not the only way. And I know, I can already tell the chat was probably telling him that he was wrong, and he's omitting that because he knows he's wrong. I think he knows deep down he's wrong with that, but it's too late for him to back down now.
Literally anyone who plays Doom the Dark Ages has to play that room that way.
I played the game, didn't beat it, unfortunately. I kind of want to go back to it, but I did play that room. And I did not need to do that. I just shot the barrels, then I entered the room. Like, that's what I did. It's just that easy.
Because if you don't, you die instantly. But they take it out of context, they clip it, they say, see, DSP sucks at games, and then it's just a consensus. DSP sucks. So it literally doesn't matter if I...
And that's also not an apples-to-apples comparison in nature either, because if you think of a debate would be something that could be more argued, like... But he doesn't like that, because if you argue with someone, like through the course of the argument, you're gonna like shift things if there's like enough points. Like, of course there are people that are gonna argue in bad faith and this and that, but just straight up, like, if he doesn't want to do a debate, then just say no. Like, this dude is like being weird about this.
Anyone on anything, and I have factual evidence to back me up of everything that I'm claiming and debating, and I'm basically saying, you know, a million times, hey, here it is, this is the truth of it. Everyone would say, yeah, but because DSP said it, it's not true. So fuck everyone, I don't give a fuck. You can all go to hell.
Triumphant sip. You told him, King.
There you go.
There you go. Oh my god.
$2, can I take Spoon's spot? You'll see results, I promise. To be honest with you, Cabaret...
Listen to this. Listen to this. Keep in mind, he crashed out on Spoons about how he moderated. Someone asks him, he wants to be mod. Listen to the response.
I'm not really actively looking for a moderator right now. At this point, I just don't see the point, right?
So, he doesn't see the point. He doesn't care about modding the kick chat, right? So then I have to ask, why not? Then why did he get upset with Spoons? Again, he did other things that was a use to him. Spoons like changed the stream, changed the category, uh, did polls for DSP. Like this guy wasn't like changing the title to dumb shit or anything. He was actually doing stuff that DSP should be doing on these sites. And he still demodded him and got mad at him because he didn't do the thing he just said he didn't care about. Like that is so funny to me. Spoons did all this meaningful stuff for him, and that's still not enough. And DSP still shadowed. And again, keep in mind, DSP brags how these people are not being paid. They're not paid moderators, and they're volunteers, and this and that. And yet he is still being a beggy, a choosy Nancy, whatever the fuck, to for this position. But if you don't care about the mods, the moderation, and all this other stuff, but Spoons did all these other things that was of use of him, then does he really need to demod him? And did he really need to crash out on him? Like, listen to how silly that sounds. And this also tells me immediately that spam was not as bad. Because you would think if the spam was that bad, you would want a mod. Like, if they're saying hateful things that are, like, awful and would not be allowed anywhere else, then wouldn't you want a mod for that? Why is it magically, it doesn't matter now? Like, again, this is what I mean. This is, like, the constant issue with DSP is that he just gets mad and doesn't think. He doesn't think about the situation, what he wants from like the moderation stuff he has or anything. It's a straight up anger, and then he just he copes with I didn't care about it, like a child. This is what children do.
Kick chat is going to kind of be uncontrollable and wild and stupid. At any given moment, we got people spamming single kicks.
So then, why did you want to be like? And again, listen to how like he's shitting on Kick. And again, the only reason he wants Kick around is for the pennies. Like, if he wasn't making money on that site passively, he would end it. Like, if Kick were to ever remove him from the partner program and he could make $0 on Kick, he will drop that site so fast. Like, the only reason he streamed on Twitch as long as he did after he lost his partnership was simply because he was debating doing the Patreon thing, and also simply just waiting for YouTube to approve his membership status. That's all. That's it. That's all he was doing. And then he got his membership on YouTube. Guess what happened? He immediately left Twitch. Immediately, basically. So he's only keeping Kick around because of the passive income. And that's not to say that the KCIP is lucrative, but when you have pennies from that, just enough dents on Kick that give him money, like, that are dedicated to giving him money are around, he's gonna keep it. Like, your future step dent is still there, giving him money. And again, he is dedicated. Like, this dude gave him, like, an outline. It's like, Phil, I can't give you money right now. Okay, I will give you money later. Don't worry about it. Like, I've never seen anyone, like, talk to a streamer like that, ever. Like, when is the last time? Just think about, ask yourself this. You watch it, any streamer you've watched, has any supporter told that streamer, hey man, I won't be able to support for a while, I'll support in the future? That's not selling merch or anything like that would make sense for that. Right? Probably not a lot. Probably just DSP.
Taking over the chat. We got people saying horrible things. We got people spamming. Like, what am I going to do about it? Right?
So then why were you upset at Spoons for not moderating? Like, I love when it comes to him moderating the chat. Nothing I could do, dude. Too many people. But Spoons should have no problem going through the entire chat and watching the stream and supporting DSP and moderating and all this other stuff. Like, Spoons can do all of that, but not Phil. I mean, sure, arguably, Phil is also streaming the game. Spoons is literally a mod for the chat, but like, you realize Spoons is also one person, correct? Like, I really hope that if I go back and if I watch something or whatever where people highlight that Spoons was actually moderating, I hope I don't see that. I hope for DSP's sake he did mod. I hope he did mod. Because imagine if he did mod and he still said this. Imagine.
The thing is, I have a nice chat on the YouTube side where if we want to have rational conversation, intelligent thought, real positive constructive feedback, that's where I get it.
So then why, like, again, Spoons was doing all this other meaningful stuff for him. Like, it wasn't like he was doing trolling polls, at least from what I'm assuming. He wasn't like changing the title to Phil loves ass, Phil sucks dick. He wasn't changing the category to nonsense or anything. He was doing shit to help his streams. The only thing he was not a mod for doing is moderating the chat. Like, I don't care if you argue, well, Theo, that's like, the main point of having a mod. This dude did so many other things for this fucking guy, and for him to say, I don't care about the chat, like, come on. If the general attitude towards the kick chat is I don't care about the moderation, it's an uncontrollable chat, it's the razzing chat, whatever, then you should not be butthurt to the extent where there's slight drama about the mod. Like this should not have happened if the overall opinion on that chat in of itself is I don't care. If you say I don't care about the chat and you're crashing out like this, you're an idiot. Like I'm sorry. I'm sorry this is how you found out, dude.
Kick side is just crazy for whatever reason. I don't think it'll ever.
For whatever reason. Like I'm just gonna ignore the raw Phil drama that happened. Let's ignore that. Phil, hyped up the kick chat as the crazy chat, the trolling chat, and this and that. I just love how performative it is. Because at the end of the day, all it is just him admitting he's lazy and he doesn't want to moderate. And that's true for both chats. He may be a little bit more hands-on with YouTube, to be honest, because that's like the most he's willing to do. Because at the end of the day, he sees this job as a hands-off, easy job. And that's what he liked about it. That's what he loves about this job. He gets to play games and not care. And when he actually has to do any that resembles a job, oh my god, it's like asking him to like fill a job application. Like I just love because when you're streaming and running a stream, there are aspects of it, get this, that are meant to be like a job. Like that's why you see so many streamers that will actually openly admit, like, yeah, I understand this is like a lucky position and this, that. They will also complain specifically about things that are like, yeah, I do have to do all this other stuff, but here's the thing. They have the effort to back that up. Like they have the reputation of that, right? Like, you know what I mean? But when DSP goes about, like, it's not a mystery or a surprise or a troll thing when people talk about how hard his job is. People laugh. Like it's no conspiracy. It's not a detractor meme. It's because this guy has such a level 1 attitude towards everything. He can't just take an interest in in the chat. Like the fact that the moderation is so half-assed and like inconsistent, it's like, what are we doing? And for him to just say to the camera, I don't know why you kick chats like this. Like this dude, this is kind of like fucked up at behavior. It's like he grooms the chat into being a certain way, and then tries to shame the chat for what he groomed them to be. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And then he wonders why. Like, this is why I don't even blame Spoons. Like, imagine you're modding the kick chat and you're listening to his streams. Like, the more you listen to DSP, the more insane you'll be, because you're gonna listen to shit that's gonna instantly contradict what he just said, like within the same stream. Like, you'll go insane. Like before it was just straight up he would contradict himself. They said things years ago. Now it's just the same stream, the same year, the same career. the, like in general, it's insane. And now and that's what he's sticking to now. And this is the shit he says for years. He would have a falling out with mods. This is even back when he was on Twitch, back when he was streaming only on YouTube, whatever. He would then say, after a mod would be revealed as a troll, I don't care about mods. I'm not looking for mods. I think I'm good with this. I'm going for a low mod. I'm cool with this. And then, like, within a day, week, month, whatever, suddenly he mods some random fuck and a whale. Like, it's been always, that's been, like, the go-to for a while. Mod a whale and mod some random guys so you don't get accused of modding just whales. But now, suddenly, we're just modding random people. I just feel like we're modding random people for the lulz at this point. The only person that's gonna probably become a mod, I'm predicting it, is Sliwa. That guy's gonna get a mod ship, and he's gonna get this. He's probably gonna like reduce throwing Phil money, because a lot of these whales that become mod, they just stop whaling. They may at most donate like once a month or whatever, but it's not gonna be as consistent as they were before they were mod. And then these people will eventually be demodded, or they'll just stop showing up to stream or whatever the fuck. Like, again, he has no rapport with anybody in this chat, and it is kind of crazy because as I said, his chat's a nightmare for any other streamer. They probably would not want this, and this would probably be why he would be forced into paying someone to be a mod, so that they would. But again, even if he paid someone, because he paid Darziak, just keep that in mind. He paid Darziak, and that wasn't enough for Darziak to not leak the DMs, because he started shitting on Darziak in subtle, passive aggressive ways over time. That was enough for Darziak to be bitter. Like, this dude cannot help himself because he has a bad attitude. And again, as I said earlier, this is a pattern that keeps happening. And this is why people don't take his apologies seriously. If you're gonna have a habit of being a shitty person, it's gonna like affect you in other ways you may not realize.
Be a better place, just being honest. It just seems like it's always going to be out of control. That's just how it is. So I'm not really actively caring, to be frank with you. I just don't think it's a big deal.
It's not a big deal, but he doubled down on not apologizing to Spoons and demodded him, despite Spoons doing all this work for him, except for modding. And look how grateful he is. Like, this dude did like 5 other things except for one thing, and that was enough to tank his entire like thing, which is kind of like shitty. And this is kind of like stuff that people would probably bitch about Jobs doing. Like, you could do like everything. You could like and this kind of this was a discourse for a while, and it's probably still part of this discourse, but people are being paid like not well wages, like, right? They're being paid the bare minimum, and it's not a living wage. So people have no incentive to go far beyond the basic requirements of their job. So that's what they're doing, and they're doing that, and then these like executives, like, they're either these people, they're quiet quitting. Oh, these people, they're not working hard enough. They just don't love work. It's like, yeah, they're not being paid enough to want to do that. Like, if you're not going to pay them like enough to have a living wage, what incentive do they have to work beyond the bare minimum? And that's what's going on here. They're not being paid at all. The mods are not being paid at all in this situation, and they're doing the bare minimum or under that. Technically, they're just doing everything except for one thing, and that's enough to like fire them. Like, and again, this is also a career that he openly says, I don't care about the mod. I don't care about moderation. Like, that's insane. Imagine. Like, imagine if this is like Microsoft did all these layoffs, and they're like, yeah, we don't care. We don't need game developers. Imagine the fallout people would have for that. People would like, oh my god, it might be that may exacerbate a revolution if companies openly start saying, We don't care. Yeah, we lay these people off. We don't care. We don't care about the workforce. Like that would be insane. That might be enough to mobilize people, dude.
Guess what?
Guess what? Get a load of
Looks
this.
like this is why I don't overpromise and underdeliver. It looks like there was a delay, and I'm not getting the Final Fantasy cards.
Oh my god, we're not listening to cards. So let's move on to the night stream, where we have a nice little argument here about everyone's favorite word.
I'm sorry that you don't like the word retarded. I hate to tell you, it's not a swear, and it's not a horrible word.
Swear.
It's something that when I was young was used.
It is a slur though. Like, it is a slur. Like, I understand that, like, you know, a lot of people for a long time use this word all over the place and this and that, and like, you know, but people slowly like agreed upon it being seen as a slur. Now, of course, a lot of people are gonna disagree with that. They may not see it the same way. Whatever. Like that is a very like I can understand that, right? I do think that if you want to use it, like, look, I'm not gonna judge you or whatever, but also like it matters in the context. I mean, because if you're saying something like a situation is dumb and you're using the R word, like okay, I like that context I understand it. But if you're gonna use it to shun people and all this other stuff, like that, you know, that could be seen as like fucked up, dude, or whatever. But like again, I'm not gonna sit here and like police people for how they use words. But it's like, look, if you want to use it, that's on you. Like, look, you know, you can go about your life the way you want to go about it. Uh, I don't want to use it because I do see it as a slur, and it's like, look, I'm just gonna draw the line on that, and that's it. Like, uh, oh my God, I'm like struggling to continue this a little bit, but the thing is, this is what I was trying to get to. Oh my God, Jesus. But this is what I'm trying to get to. The people who use it, like Keemstar, whatever, I'll admit, at least are honest about it. Like I do think that to some degree, you can understand that. Yeah, people can say this is a slur and it's offensive, but look, it's just a word. I'm just saying that this is a stupid situation, whatever. Like whatever. Like the people who use it, they're at least like honest about using it. They may straight even say, "I'm just using it to be edgy" or whatever. Meanwhile, when DSP wants to use it, it's like it's like that meme of a person doing all these crazy mental gymnastics, or like on the top panel is like a dude is doing a basic flip, and it's like, oh yeah, like whatever, and on the bottom it's like someone doing all these crazy gymnastics just to say something stupid or whatever, right? It's that meme, and that's what DSP does all the time. And it's like, when you look at it, it's like, do you really need to go through the effort to use this word? Like, Keemstar didn't go through this much effort to use it. Like, Trump didn't go through this effort. Like, I mean, even the straight up saying, stop being a little bitch is like enough. But no. DSP can't do that. That's too little words. We have to use a lot more words.
On the schoolyard when we were all 5, and just because society is now ultra.
And this is not a good excuse either. We said this when we were in school. Okay, but like, kids weren't using that word for the lulz. They were using it to insult people. Like I just love that this argument is like, he's like, it's not an offensive term. We said it all the time. Yeah, but what was the context of using it? You weren't using it to describe something. You were using it as an insult. Like, this is like a really disingenuous argument. And if you didn't know DSP, you would either think that he's being disingenuous or a bad faith person, but in reality, he's a fucking idiot. DSP's a dumbass. So he's not being a bad faith or person. He's just a dumbass. He's an idiot, because for years and years, this dude's like, I understand that words have meaning and what I say has consequences. And then, like, this dude also talks about how people should be positive. This dude goes on and on and on about how people should be positive. Why are people so negative and toxic and this and that? And then when people are like, yeah, Phil, I think you shouldn't be using the R slur. And he's like, did you know that people like, bitch, people say people a lot of things happen that was fucked up, back in time. Do you think it's okay to still do fucked up things because we did it back then? No, things change. We have a deeper understanding. Like, how do you think language works? Like, we assign meaning to words so that when you communicate, you can understand. And that also means words can be used to be offensive, can be signs of aggression, whatever. And when you listen to these even use the term, you know why he's using it. Like, just listen to this. Get a load
sensitive
of
and thinks
this.
it's an offensive word. It's not. Sorry. It's just not. It's nothing offensive about it. If something is retarded, it basically means that it's kind of stunted, it's slowed down, it hasn't had full development.
So why doesn't DSP say when Jade types something that he doesn't understand? Why doesn't he say, Jade, that was retarded. Can you type it again? Jade, that are you being retarded right now? Like, why doesn't he say that? Why doesn't he say that Jade's posts are being retarded? Okay, guys, stop making fun of Jade's typing. His typing is just retarded. Let him like type again or whatever. Why doesn't he say that? Why when he describes Super Blind, why doesn't he say, "Oh, Super Blind I say is just retarded"? Why doesn't he say that? Is it because it's a toxic term that is negative that sounds bad or what? Because he only seems to use it when he's upset at someone who says something stupid. Like like he only uses it for that. Like this is the most childish defense for the word I've ever seen. Because it's childish in the sense of it's like a thing you say when you think you're outsmarting the person you're telling it to, but the person knows what the fuck you're doing.
Now, yes, there is a actual condition called mental retardation. That's different.
But then how come when you use it, you are clearly talking about the person's intelligence? Like, he only explains it like that. Like, it's the same argument we had about, oh, do you get upset when you see flame retardant? But the context is directly there. Like, this is completely dented logic. And again, this dude also got upset about people using the term dense and mouth. Well, I'm not sure about mouth ruler because he used math ruler a lot. But it's just the context of how he uses the term. It's so obvious. He only uses it on people he's banning, people who are saying troll memes all the time. Never says it to a fan or whatever. Like when he sees a typo in chat by anyone else, why didn't he say, "Hey man, like, oh that sounds a little bit retarded. Can you say that again?" Because he knows why he doesn't say it. He knows it's a negative term and he only uses it to insult someone. Like, stop insulting the audience intelligence. You know why you say it. But when people call it out and say, hey, this is like fucked up, he always wants to say this so that you feel bad. This is him just trying to make you feel bad for calling him out. It's so childish. It is insane. Insane.
Than saying retarded. It is. It's completely different. It's not even the same terminology. It doesn't mean the same thing. When I say that the guy his thoughts are retarded, I mean he's a slow guy.
He doesn't say his thoughts are retarded. He literally says, "Oh my god, your retardation is showing. Oh my god, your mental retardation is showing." And it's so obvious what he means with that. Like this dude is trying to he really is trying to make you like if you think it's bad, you should feel bad because I'm not saying that. It's like you say something that's like racist and then someone saying, "Hey, that's racist." Like, if you think I said something racist, that means you're racist. It's like, shut the fuck up. You said it, dumb fuck. You understand why people may think that. Like he knows this. He knows why. Because if he didn't, then why did he take the time in his career to try not to say it? Like, hello? It's so obvious. Same thing with the F slur. Same thing with how you use gay, because like you can say so like, oh, that person's gay, and mean that they're actually gay, not like in a derogatory, negative way. Like that's how why it's bad. If you use gay in a derogatory, negative way, then people are gonna say that's homophobic or insensitive or fucked up because they're using that in a negative way. You're not if you're describing someone that's different. But you know, no, that's why it's bad to say that. I'm kind of repeating myself at this point. But this dude knows this. He is just saying this because he wants to use the term, and he doesn't want to be like he doesn't want to be at fault. So his answer to this is to make you feel like you're at fault for thinking what he's saying is offensive. But why doesn't he just take his own advice and say, well, maybe I shouldn't be toxic and I should be positive? Because isn't it the same thing if you want to be positive and you don't want people to be toxic to try not to say words that may be construed as saying a slur? Because think of because just as I said before, if you're saying a word and every time someone is saying, "Oh my God, you're saying a slur," how is it really worthwhile to say it? Is this a hill to die on? Is this a worthy hill to die on? Like think about it. If you're gonna say a word where you have to constantly argue about using it and all this other stuff, is it worth saying it? Probably not. And if you don't, if you want to say it and you don't care about the discourse, then move on. But he keeps entertaining the people claiming that they're offended by this. If you're gonna keep like arguing this, it may just be better to just not use the word. But he's so stupid and bitch made. He has to argue this, and it's a bad argument. It's not even a good argument.
He's thinking dumb things because he listens to gullible people and he doesn't fully think out his thoughts. There's nothing wrong with saying that at all. It's time to stop with bullshit. It really is time to stop being so weak and scared about saying words that are common words that everyone should be.
It's not about being weak or scared. It's like it is so insane, and so many people have this mentality, and it's like so dumb. People finding words offensive isn't people being afraid. It's a simply saying, like, look, there are some things that you shouldn't say because it's just like negative. Like, why do you think people stop saying the N word? Why do you think people stop saying the F word? Why do you think people like classify words as slurs? Because people can use these things to demean other people, and it may create more hostility and aggression towards marginalized groups. That's why people don't want to use slurs, and they try not to use slurs that use other people's disposition as a way to insult someone. That's all that's going on. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't think that like that's what's going on when you use the term or whatever, that's like on you, and that's I'm not gonna like hold your hand on this. But you also don't have to argue like DSP to use a word at that point. Like, because arguably I can understand the R slur and the legacy of that word over time. Like, I understand on that level. Like, it didn't have necessarily the same like situation as like the N word, racial slurs, and like all that kind of stuff. But I do understand why people consider this a slur and all of this. So it's like, okay, I get it. Like, I see why like it is a problematic term because it kind of undermines a lot of like of these talking points and these situations. Like, it's a societal thing. And look, if you want to use it, I'm not gonna like look down on you or say, "Oh my God, you're a shitty person," because at the end of the day, what really matters is the actions people have. Like, it depends on who you are as a person and how you act. But this dude is not even comprehending why like people may find that term offensive. People may find that offensive because they may know someone or they may have a relative that may have a mental condition, all that kind of stuff. They may not like it when they see someone use it as an insult. And you can, accuse me of being a virtue signaler, whatever. But like at the end of the day, as I said over and over again, you you know what you believe. At the end of the day, you know who you are and you believe what you believe. But DSP doesn't believe in anything because he's the most fake performative piece of shit you could find. And it's so like lazy compared to anyone else. Again, other people who have used the R slur even openly admit, yeah, I'm just being edgy. You know, it's just a word or whatever. Like, these are people who are more honest with why they're using it than this because they don't have to work this hard. Look how hard he has to work to use the term. Look how hard he has to argue because he wants you to feel bad for accusing him. All these other people who say the term, no, understand that they may be accused of being offensive in this, and they say, so what? This guy, actually, if you think I'm offensive, actually, in reality, you are. Like, you know he's fucked up. You know. It's insane.
able to use because some people in society got sensitive about it at some point. That's absolutely
It's not about being sensitive, it's about being accepting. They're accepting more people and they don't want people to be offended or insulted. Like, there's nothing wrong with having a society that wants to be more accepting towards marginalized groups or just people in general. Like, at some point, you have to, like, understand that people need to work past their differences or to be more accepting, and you don't need to be, like, on edge or angry at other people. People just don't like it when they get called out for being a piece of shit sometimes. Like, that is sensitive snowflake behavior. Like, and that happens to a lot of people. Like, I mean, it happens to me, it happens to everyone else. Like, because at the end of the day, like, sometimes you may not like what someone may have to say about you. And that's just how, and you have to work through that however you can as a fucking adult.
ridiculous.
But it is so ironic that this dude is going through this as he has so many streams saying, guys, you know my trolls? They say fucked up things all the time. And it's awful. And guys, I'm positive we should stop being toxic. And I understand that what I said back then was fucked up. And here he is saying it's okay to say a slur. And it just shows you this the entire time that he was on Twitch was just performative because he thought if he was on Twitch and he said like whatever that he would have that Anita Sarkeesian was gonna bring him to woke jail. He was gonna go to woke prison. When it's like at most he would get a slap on the wrist. And he did, and he got accused, and Twitch did say that he lost the partnership for saying hateful slurs. And he has said hateful slurs, even by accident, and all this other stuff sometimes. But he doesn't even understand, but he's actively arguing that it's okay to say the R word. And he doesn't understand that maybe that's not okay. Like, he's not willing to understand why people consider it a slur or anything. Like, you can look this up. You can Google, is the R word a slur? And it will explain to you, yes, it's a slur, and all the stuff about it. And he will argue against it all the time.
You're right. People are becoming more and more sensitive, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, I just said this the other day. How do people go to the doctor?
He said the other day, it's the same day. He said the same thing the same day. So I'm not going to really reiterate my doctor point, but you know this is the same, like, this is not a real story. And if it is, he's omitting a lot of, like, key details.
And the doctor says to them, just so you know, you are overweight. It could do you some good if you lost some weight because, you know, you're going to have health problems. And then people freak out. How dare you say I'm overweight? That is offensive. You have triggered me. Like, but I'm the doctor. It's my job to tell you.
Like, no one says this. And like, again, like, a lot of people are probably assuming, well, they're saying that being fat is healthy. But what they're saying is that, like, there is a healthy, like, spectrum for people, like, in that that weight bracket. Like, yeah, you should lose weight and you should work to like have a better like lifestyle. But there is like a healthy like range and all this other stuff. Like there's a healthy way to lose weight and there's an unhealthy way to lose weight. Like there's all these things that are very nuanced that people like DSP just don't get because they don't have to deal with it. He didn't study medicine. He's not a doctor. He doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. He doesn't understand anything. Whatever.
these things so that you can improve your life. You can't tell me that. People just can't handle reality. You know what I'm saying? They just can't. The terminology that was used by small children in the 1980s cannot.
It's not the 1980s. And like, dude, kids are still growing up. They're still learning morality. They're still learning like whatever. Like kids get punished for saying bad words because there's a time and place for things. Like this is just so goofy. It's so goofy. How does he think language works? He's like, oh, so people are getting offended. So then why do you get offended when people call a cat fat? It's just a word, right? Like, this is insane. Insanely childish. Because he's arguing that words, these are just words. Yeah, they're not a literal weapon. You're not literally getting hurt, man. So then why do we ban people when they say mean things in chat? Like it just doesn't make sense. And kids do get punished because because the whole point of punishing kids for saying bad words is to install a idea that, you know, people should be positive to one another. Like, this is like crying when you watch a show talk about sharing is caring. Oh my god, they're teaching kids sharing is caring? That's fucked up. Like come on.
Be offended. You know, are you offended by the word dork? If you call someone a dork, do you know what a dork is? It's a whale penis. I'm serious.
Apparently that's not true. I did not know this. I'm not. No, let's look it up. I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm gonna look it up. Dork definition: a contemptible, socially inept person. And that's the New Oxford American Dictionary. Oh, guys, actually get felted. Definition number 2. North American vulgar slang. A man's penis. Not a whale's penis, a man's penis. 1960s, originally US, perhaps a variant of Dirk, influenced by Dick. Yeah, so it is a man's penis. Not even a dork's penis. It's not even that. But at the same time, the context of using dork is an insult. Like, at that point, he's arguing to devalue the meaning of words, to just remove all meaning. So if we do that, then how are we going to listen to people and respond to things that people say if we're just gonna say words mean nothing? Like this is a complete like ignorant. This is just complete ignorance, just plain and simple. This is what ignorance looks like.
Serious. When you call someone a dork, you're calling them a whale penis.
Okay.
Is that super offensive to you? It might be.
But if I'm saying, I'm stupid, well, you're a fucking dork. Like, how would that be a positive thing? Oh, you call me a whale penis. Okay. Is it, do you want to look like a whale penis? Is that your goal in life, to look like a penis? This in of itself doesn't make sense. Because again, the context of using the term makes it negative because you're using it to insult someone. Like, he's really this acting as if people are just sitting around doing nothing and saying, dork. And then someone's like, huh. And that's it. Like, that's what they're doing. Maybe that's what DSP did on the playground. He just sat around and people said things and he was just like goat laughing the whole time. He's a fucking drone.
To some of these people, they might act like, you called me a penis? Oh, how dare you? How very offensive, right?
Again, this is the guy that will not say the word gout. And when he does, it's always like, with all these safety words. Okay, guys, I think a blood condition that you get when you're born, and it's like hereditary gout, and or he'll say I have a blood crystal acid syndrome or whatever the fuck condition. I have blood acid crystal condition or whatever. He'll say that, but he will not say yeah I have gout. He will not say that in a normal way. He'll and because when he'll say it in a very awkward, like shy way, like he's admitting something that he shouldn't be admitting.
Like, who cares? Stop with the nonsense. Stop being so sensitive, right? Starshine Radiant says people just love being outraged constantly. Some people, anyway. Doesn't matter what the trigger is, they're constantly looking for excuses to freak out. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Okay, so then why are you upset when Neil Druckmann said, people who hate the game are bigots, or whatever the fuck he said all those years ago? Why was he so mad? They're just words. You know, you're gonna let a word hurt your feelings? Wow, you're letting words hurt your feelings, Phil. Are you sensitive? Oh, he said that these people are bigots. Like, I mean, you could say the same argument about him. Oh man, like whatever.
Right? In modern society, here's the truth. In modern society, we have it too easy. Because back in the day, no one cared what you called anyone, because everyone had to struggle. Everyone.
What does this mean? So yeah, no one's struggling now? I mean, dude, you eat lettuce, you get diarrhea. You can't even eat healthy anymore, dude. But even then, like people are always suffering because people are always trying to make ends meet. The cost of living has been only going up. You seen the price of gas? Like he's acting as if like no one is suffering anymore. Yeah, no one is struggling, even though like there's an ongoing discourse about affordability in the country, in the world even. And then there's and now there's talk about heat waves. And this dude was like, yeah, there's no one suffering anymore. What the fuck are you talking about? Like this is just simply just saying that well, we do have the internet. That must mean we're not suffering anymore. Like are we comparing to cavemen? Yeah, we're not living in the wilderness anymore. But like they're still suffering. We still have a homelessness epidemic going on. There's all these things going on. Like what do you mean that we're not suffering anymore? Oh, people used to suffer back in the day. What do you mean? What do you mean when we had to hunt for food?
Had to work hard to try to make a living. Everyone was trying to get safety.
Yeah, no one is working hard anymore. No one's working hard anymore, guys. Don't despite all the layoffs, no one's working. No one wants to work.
An affluence, a place to sleep that was nice and comfy, food on the table for the family.
Oh my god, this dude is literally talking like we were in caves not even that long ago. We were just trying to find a place to sleep, food, and all this. Just like okay, like were we hunting? Were we foraging for food? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And what does this have to do with anything? You realize that, like, you know, alongside all of this, it's also societal shit too, right? We are in a society, and part of that is getting along and like maybe not trying to get to each other's throats. Like, why do you think people get upset with other people when they say fucked up things or things that they think are insulting? Like, why do you think that is? Maybe they just don't want you to be around people that they think are assholes. Like, if someone's saying the R slur, like, and they're throwing it around, and they don't think it's a big deal, people who may think that offensive may say, hey, that's kind of a fucked up thing. That guy, I don't want to hang out with him. Like, these are just societal things that people do. This is what I mean. If he wants to use it, fine. Whatever. But you don't need to argue in these dumb roundabout ways, especially if the arguments are brain dead arguments. Like these are nothing arguments. Because it doesn't make me say, damn, you know what, Phil has a point. In fact, it makes me actually say, damn, this guy's an idiot. What the fuck is he talking about? Like, it's not a meaning, like, I can understand it more when it says, look, guys, we said this a lot, and it's just it's just edgy. We're just doing edgy humor. Like, there are people who are disabled that say, I don't care. You say the word, I don't give a fuck. And that's their opinion. Like if they want to, if they don't care, they don't care. But there are just as many people who do care. Like you don't know that, and it's better to assume that they may take offense to it. I'm not going to say the word. Like there's nothing wrong with not saying a word that they may consider a slur. There's nothing wrong with that. If you think someone may take offense to something, just don't say it. That's where the term "if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all" comes from. Because very simply, you don't need to say something negative all the time.
Staying healthy and healthcare, things like that. All these things were hard to get. So when that was the
Healthcare is still hard to get. We just defunded Medicaid, dude. Come here.
focus of existence in life, survival, you didn't have time to worry about bullshit. But now what's happened is our
This is dumb because people always had like. This is dumb. Language is part of the bullshit that people dealt with. Why do you think people agreed upon the N word being a slur and that it should not be used and all this stuff? Like, why do you think we've been having these conversations for years now? Like, this dude is completely like inept and ignorant to the ways society works.
lives have become so easy and so complacent. Everything is instant gratification. We all have food. We all have money. We're all safe.
We
we're
all
comfy.
have money? We do? Damn! That's guys, we all have money. Guys, quit your job. We all have money. We have money, guys. We don't need jobs anymore. No one needs jobs. All the people who are laid off and they complain about being laid off, just say, you have money. You have money. You're not suffering. Get out of here.
Well, now we need something to get upset about. And it's not survival anymore. Now it's bad words. Ooh, bad words. Oh.
So, again, why did he crash out at Spoons for not moderating the chat for spamming bad words if we shouldn't care about bad words? Like, this is a stupid argument. Again, as I said, like, if this is the argument that's being presented to use the R word, you're gonna be inclined to think the guy's an idiot. And you're gonna not want to use it.
Let me put it this way. If the biggest concern of your life is that you're offended someone triggered you, that's a good
People who are saying it's offensive are not saying that this is the biggest deal in their life. Like the guy who, even in this segment, when the person who said that, oh, I don't like that you're using the R word or whatever, they're not saying, Phil, I hope you die. You said a fucked up word, and now I can't live or whatever the fuck. That's not what he said. The dude just straight up said, I don't like that. He said people don't have to like it. But this guy who is like, you guys should be more understanding and be positive, is yelling at someone for saying, I don't like that you're using a term that is a slur and is seen negatively. Like, come on.
thing, because that means you actually don't have any actual discomfort or stress or strife in your life. You're actually nitpicking for things to get upset about because you're bored. So congrats on being bored. If you're triggered and offended by
this is dumb. He thinks that like this is just acting like people are bored and getting offended, but they're ignoring like the context of it. Like this is what a lot of people like there were a lot of people like during the SJW era or whatever that like took things like to insane levels at times, and it devalued like actual like discourse for the most part. Like that shit does happen, and it happens even now sometimes. Like, you know, whatever. But at the end of the day, like, if you genuinely believe in things, you're gonna, like, say what you want to believe, right? Like, if you don't believe in saying the R word, like, fine. Do what you want. Because, again, at the end of the day, I just think that, like, I try not to offend people. Like, it's the same thing I say if I'm talking to a conservative person or a Republican person or whatever, I don't want to just write them off and say, oh, you're a Nazi. Because it's like, you know, I'm trying to have a conversation with someone, and even if you don't agree, even if we end the conversation and we don't agree, I'm not going to necessarily like go back and say, well, you're a Nazi, because like it devalues what I'm trying to argue or communicate with. And I'm going to assume the best of people. I don't want to assume the person I'm talking to is a Nazi or whatever, because there's no benefit. Because what if I'm wrong? What if I'm right? Well, like I don't want to think about these things, so I'm just going to argue what I believe in, say like I believe in this, and then if someone doesn't agree with that, so be it. I'll move on with my day.
silly words. Good for you. You must have a really
you.
good life. But keep it to yourself, because no one cares. No one in reality actually cares about your sensitivities. Seriously.
People should start saying this when he gets mad about people saying cat's fat or gout, because these are just words, and people are just defending are just saying words that they said on the schoolyard. I mean, everyone said fat. Everyone said you're fat. Everyone said this other person's fat. People have always called women fat all the time, and like it's kind of funny. Like I feel like there like imagine if DSP starts going down that rabbit hole. Like he did kind of call people like sexist for a while for shitting on Leanna, but what if he does start saying that about Kat? Guys, you're only calling Kat fat because it's misogynistic. Because of course you're gonna say that as an insult. Bleh.
Obviously. Okay?
Man, this AI slot music. God damn.
It can be used to
Oh, you go
Of
with
course, it's
this.
about intent. Because
Of course, it's about intent. Again, like he's being called out for saying the R word and all this other stuff, and he does it. He never once mentioned that people can about the intent part. Someone else had to bring that up. It does show again. It shows how little he cares about when he says shit like, "Oh, I understand that what I said back in the day was fucked up," and all that stuff. All that stuff is performative. Like, give me brownie points, guys. Say that I'm based. I understand that words can have meaning. Like, come on.
because here's the thing. The use of terminology can be used very differently. It can be used to weaponize. It can be used to massively offend. It could be, you know? But to use a word the proper way and to then be told, oh, that's offensive, is actually more offensive.
It's more offensive. No, it's not, because you're saying a word that incorporates a slur. And again, no one even uses the term mentally retarded in a non-negative way. Like find me a person that says it positively. Like it's probably not a big list of people because they probably understand that's me. Maybe back in the day, in the 80s it was. But over time people are like, yeah, we're going to use another term that's a little more like not insulting, because people start using the word insulting in insulting cases, which, get this, DSP's been using that word in insulting ways like forever.
And if the person used it in an offensive way, because
Why doesn't he give us an example? At this point, because he says, "Oh, it's one thing." It's like the how he defends saying fucked up jokes. People say, "Well, it's one thing if I make it. My jokes are generalized jokes. I'm not making fun of one person. I'm making fun of everyone, and or whatever." And it's like that doesn't really make it any better. Like you're literally making fun of an entire race at that point, which is what racist jokes are, and all this other stuff. And he keeps arguing that, like, oh, this and that, and this is like the new. Oh my god, this is the new version of that. Oh my god, guys, we're in an era where the oh, I make generalized humor has now evolved into this. This is the new soundbite argument he'll get over and over until the next thing.
using it in the intelligent way, the word was designed to be used, and then people are pissed. That's not your problem. That's theirs. You see?
But for a guy that's supposed to be understanding and positive and receptive and not toxic, shouldn't he understand why some people may find that offensive and then say, well, if people are gonna find it offensive, I'm not gonna use the term, so that way like people can just enjoy my content. Like again, like how much effort he has to go through to use the word than when he doesn't have to use the word.
But listen, I get it, because what happens is then once a word is deemed as offensive,
Do you get
now
it?
all of society has to act that way, because if not, you're not PC anymore. You're not politically
my
correct,
God.
right?
This shit is so dumb. It's so dumb, man. You're not PC. Fuck off. just because you don't want to offend people all the time, and you want to either, if you want to say something stupid, you want to use a non-offensive term that is like a slur. That's not you wanting to be PC or caring about being PC. It's just you not wanting to be an asshole. Like, what about that?
You're not doing the right. You're not being Mr. Nice Guy.
DSP brag about being Mr. Nice Guy all the time. It like he wants to be seen as a positive guy, and now he's like, oh, you want to be seen as a positive guy? Oh, you're Mr. PC stupid idiot pants. So I just love the paradox that like he basically still wants to be the king of hate kind of guy. He's like he didn't go anywhere. The thing at the end we have to realize his vision of the king of hate is very dented and very singular in the sense of uh only he can like understand what it means, and it means whatever he wants it to mean. Like that's all it is. Like again, just like how he learned how what the problem with the word goal is. He dropped the king moniker because he just said, well, king hate bad, but he doesn't think that like, well, maybe like people can misconstrue it as something else. So maybe I should move on from it. And then he brings back the king moniker. No, he thought that the issue was the king of hate, when it's just the hate part of that was the problem, because it no one knows the context of that, and when he has to explain the context, it kind of shows the problem. So maybe instead of like, he could have called himself the king of retro, or the king of gaming, or the king of snorts, or whatever the fuck. But instead he says, ah, the whole thing is bad. Like he doesn't understand anything. Like he's like when he was like, because I almost guarantee he doesn't understand why, he doesn't understand the derogatory term for trans people. He doesn't understand the how gay can be derogatory. He just knows gay is bad, so he doesn't say that. Like he doesn't say black people. He says African Americans. There's nothing wrong with saying black people, because not every black person is from Africa. Like that's why you just say black people, because it's like, general, because you don't know if they came from wherever they come from, right? Come on.
And I just don't get it. I don't. It's not a slur.
It's why people like start calling people from like China, Japan, Korea as like Asians. Like, just say Asian, because calling them Oriental is racist, because like, come on. I always thought that too, by the way. Little fun fact. I always thought it was weird, because Oriental is like how you call like furniture, or like plates, all this stuff. Like I've always heard like that. It's like, why are you calling people that? And then like people are just saying, hey, just say Asian if you don't know what part, like where they're from. Just say Asian. Like that's more accurate than saying Oriental, and a little more humanizing. And it's like, okay, like that makes sense. I'm not gonna say like, well, back then when I was a baby, they said that. Like, come on.
Let me say that again. That word, retarded, is not a slur.
It is.
Look it up.
I did look it up, and it did say it is a slur. Like, why doesn't he look it up?
It's not a slur. It's not the N-word, okay? The N-word is a slur. The N-word has no positive meaning. It's all negative.
But retarded does have a negative meaning, because it's used negatively. Like, yeah, you use it as like a flame retardant and stuff like that. But again, no one's saying, well, you're flame retardant. They say you're retarded, which is like negative, and it is a derogatory way of using it. Thus, it's a slur. Like, that's just how the language works.
It's not a descriptive word meant to do something. It's just meant to offend.
It's not a descriptive.
Okay?
Okay. Oh, he's talking about, okay.
This word, retard or retarded, is not an offensive word unless you take it that way. So stop.
But you're using it like again. Why doesn't he just look at Jade's post then and say, Jade, your post is retarded today. Can you like retype that? Why doesn't he say that? If it's not offensive, if it's not insulting, why doesn't he say that to Jade? Why doesn't he tell Jade when he doesn't understand what he's saying that his post is retarded? Why does he only save it to people that piss him off? Let's not think about this.
Like I said, I'm not even exaggerating when I tell you this was something said on the schoolyard when I was a kid.
Okay.
And it wasn't, no one got angry.
Are you kidding me? Dude, people use that to insult other people. No one's saying it for the lulz. Are you stupid? Like who said the R word and didn't get in and it not be like an insult? Come on.
People thought it was a joking term when it was used on the schoolyard.
No. People use it to insult other kids. Or they would describe something negatively. It was never used in a positive light on the schoolyard. And this is also, and even then, it's that, as I said, this is still not a good example. This is like saying, well, back in my day, we were racist, so why can't I be racist today? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, just because something was good back then doesn't mean it's good forever. Things change over time. And that's part of growing up, dumb fuck. And again, kids are learning every day about how to act, and they understand words can be bad. Why do you think parents don't want their kids to swear? Yeah, fuck is just a word. But at the same time, they don't want kids to grow up saying slurs all the time. They want them to expand their vocabulary and not be dependent on vulgar terms. Like there's that aspect of it, and there's also the aspect of just, hey, maybe you don't need to be an asshole all the time, right? Like, come on.
So why is it offensive in 2026? Are we going back to when I was a child? It wasn't offensive. So what are we going with, like the baby levels of intelligence? That everything is
if it wasn't whatever
offensive.
okay.
This is insane.
But if the baby level found it offensive, then shouldn't that mean that it is offensive? Chronologically, I mean, that was like the first thing we decide as babies. This was offensive. So then why was it not offensive when you're children? What happened? Huh?
Okay.
Like this ball and music. I like how the chair's like his little tail wagging like a dog.
No, you see, exactly right. Layla says it goes both ways, because that's true, because it's not that everything is allowed either. Because here's the real problem with human society today. Everyone is a simpleton in their head, and everyone thinks the extreme.
I love when he goes on these rants after having a very absolute black and white discussion about shit. Because that entire thing was very black and white. It was straight up, it's not insulting. If you think it's insulting, fuck you, you're a dumb fuck. And now the guys, there's nuance. But he illustrated zero nuance throughout the entire thing.
Either everything over here is offensive completely, or absolutely nothing could possibly ever be offensive. So either everything is forbidden or everything is allowed. When in reality, life is more complex than that, and it takes a level of intelligence to discern between the two. There's some things that are fine, there's some things that are too far, and you have to have a level of discretion.
Okay, so like, but you realize that like for years, not a lot of people took the time to think about the disabled people and all this other stuff, right? Like no one really thought about that in an active sense. Maybe now they're just saying like, hey, maybe we should actually like really start to evaluate how people treat people like that, right? They may want to like evaluate like, hey, should the R word be considered a slur because people are using it as a derogatory term and this and that. And they're like, yeah, because if you're gonna be using it as insulting, term like all that stuff, like this is just part of society. And he's sitting there like, well, if there's a thing for some things are allowed, some things are too far. Yeah, like at some point that has to be discussed and the line has to be drawn, and that's what happened with the R slur. People said, okay, this should be seen as too far because everyone is using it as a derogatory way, and it may demean people who are mentally handicapped or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like And again, as I said, I understand like that a lot of people have used this term, and people like don't find it offensive at some, either, whatever. There's all these things going on with it, but none of them are having this level of stupid argumentation about it. And I do think at the end of the day, people should at least understand that the R word is a slur, and some people may find it offensive. If people find it offensive, then you say, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'll try not to use that," or whatever. Like, you're not gonna like get crucified for saying, "Oh, okay, you find that offensive. Okay, I'm sorry, man. I'm not gonna use that word anymore." Like, that shouldn't be a problem. And for a guy that brags about being positive and not toxic, shouldn't it be a no-brainer for him?
And a level of maturity and intelligence to know that. Most humans don't have it. Most humans are literal simpletons. They see black and white, right and wrong, good and evil, hero and villain, and they don't understand that life is actually so many layers of in-between gray mixed together.
Again, if he thinks that there's all these grays in between mixed together, oh, shouldn't he like, I don't know, understand the discourse of the Arsler? Like, because look how charitable and generous he was to someone simply saying, "I find that offensive." Like, if he's so understanding of all this nuance, shouldn't he at least give some kind of like understanding to people who may find that offensive? Because he understood that people find that as a slur. But instead of saying, "Okay, I get it," he's saying, simply telling them that they're wrong. That's like the complete opposite of what he's arguing right now.
They're not smart enough to know. They just want to coast through life. Duh, duh, duh. Tell me what to do. Tell me what to think. Do everything for me.
Again, like, if you're just simply saying that the R word is a slur and if you don't look beyond that, and you're like, "Okay, it's a slur," then yeah, sure, you're a simpleton idiot, I guess. But if you understand why it's a slur and you think, "Okay, yeah, that is offensive and I can see why," or whatever, that's fine. People can believe what they want to believe. But this dude is, again, not illustrating the concept of understanding here.
So I don't have to work hard or think hard or do anything difficult. Just let me coast. Well, some people don't.
That's what DSP wants to do. He's projecting on that part because that's how I take when he keeps telling us, "All I want to do is stay here and play games and have a good game and have a good time." That's him just saying, "I just want to coast. Leave me alone. I don't want any drama. I just want to coast through life playing games and then and making money off of this." Which, of course, everyone wants to coast through life and make money and all this other nonsense, right? But this dude is acting, just simply thinking that a word is offensive and then saying, "Hey, you shouldn't be using this," is wanting to coast, right?
Want to coast. Some people actually want to think for themselves and do for themselves. You know what I mean?
But why don't you think about the people who find it offensive? Like, again, he's like, "Oh, you should think for yourself," as this guy's trying to get people to think like him. Think for yourself, but if you find this offensive, you're a fucking idiot. It's not offensive, and everyone should use it. Sound good? Instead of like saying like, hey, look, man, I understand that you find it offensive. I don't think it's offensive. Whatever. Like, I'm not gonna give him the argument here. You should learn. He needs to learn.
Yeah, I really do feel, 100%, I really do feel that it's this last generation, the eternally online,
Eternally
was born
online.
with the internet the moment they were born, have been online the entire time. That's the generation.
The people who are talking about the R slur are people like in my generation. Like people who were born in the 90s and they grew up and all this other stuff. Like, this is kind of like, I don't remember, it was either 1994 to it was like around the time they were doing the Special Olympics, and that's when they kind of like announced that the R word is a slur, basically. Something like that. This is what I researched, dude.
That's
But
the problem
whatever.
right now.
Okay.
Because they've never actually had to work. Everything is given to them. Instant gratification for any piece of information.
DSP has bitched and moaned about not like, he ordered the Final Fantasy cards like Sunday night, whatever the fuck, and it got delayed. And this dude acted like that these cards were gone forever and he was scammed and it was the end of the world. Like, this dude got that free collection edition he got for that Skyrim like game. I can't remember the name of the game. He was getting that. He Karened the fuck out, panicked, and got another free copy. He got 2 collector's editions of a game he didn't finish. And he's like scolding people for feeling instant gratification. He feels this way about everything.
Information you want is given to you instantly. You get entertainment, you get your food, you get everything, data, electricity.
I love he's saying this when he's complaining that games are taking too long to make. He wants games to come out faster. He wants Fallout to pump games every time they make a new Fallout season. Like, that's what he wants. He wants things to happen fast.
Safety, everything is just instant. You don't even understand that if you disconnect from the internet, there's a world outside of it. Instead, you're stuck on the internet, offended all the time. What?
Again, we are ignoring that, like, you are socializing with people online. Like, if you go outside in person, people can still find that word offensive. What are you gonna do then? What are you gonna do then if people in the real world find that word offensive? Are you gonna crash out? Because you know. When he's out off stream and he's in the real world, he's not talking like this. You think he's at the cashier, like, oh my god, this skater's retarded. Oh my god. Are you stupid? No, of course not. He's a little bitch. He's not this confrontational. He only acts this way online for the same reason he claims trolls act this way online. Like, this is also why he didn't want to attack people before Kino Casino was willing to be his shield for a while. He was being a little, like, that's why he locked replies on Twitter. That's why he doesn't, like, make any other posts on Twitter. Why do you think on Twitter he doesn't make any, like, posts about any of his opinions anymore? Because he doesn't want to be made fun of. He's a little bitch. Like, why do you think your comments get held on his YouTube channels?
Anyway.
Okay, I think are we done?
Really stupid. I'm sorry I got triggered because I did, but I get a.
Imagine going on a rant about people getting triggered and then saying that he got triggered. Phil got triggered over people just saying words.
Offended when people get offended by common terms because you think
but you're not understanding why they're finding it offensive though. Like, he's refusing to understand why this is discourse to begin with. Like, even the people who use the word can't understand why people find it offensive. They only argue that it's stupid to for it to be offensive, like, now, for instance. Like, oh, we've been using this word for so long, and now you want to make it into a slur or whatever. Like, that's been an argument I've seen flowing around for years ago, whatever. Like, I have seen that argument, but none of them are arguing that it's not offensive or, oh, words don't have meaning or whatever the fuck. I mean, come on. I mean, some people have made that argument, but these people I don't take seriously because words have meaning. Words have meaning. I'm sorry if this is how you found out.
Society changed now. That's not allowed. No.
Society doesn't.
How
does society? But society does change. At one point, everyone was, like, on the train reading the newspaper. That's how they got their news. Now society gets their news through social media, through the internet, and they communicate through the internet. Like, that is society changing, and people are coming forward more and more, saying that they're this or they're that, whatever, and that's society. Like, come on.
Too simple-minded. You can't think past what a bunch of hate mob people on the internet said. What is wrong with you? Just stop. Think for yourself. Act for yourself. Do for yourself. Stop trying to be
I like it's telling all these people to think for themselves, but he's doing the least amount of thinking about this. Because part of thinking is to understand where the other side's coming from. He's not understanding why people may consider this a slur, what made people change it, why are people getting offended by it. He's not even thinking about that. He claimed he did that years ago. He did make that claim, but it seemed like he forgot. Because again, he only and that's what it is. He's saying, "Oh, you're succumbing to the hate mob." He literally stopped using that word, that the slur and all this stuff, not because he thought it was offensive, just because he was afraid of of the hate mob. He convinced himself that uh the SJWs are gonna march to Renton. We're gonna do a woke march to Renton, and we're gonna send him to woke jail. We're gonna put him in woke courts. We're gonna have a woke jury, and we're gonna say we hereby sentence Phil to 5 years of woke prison. We're gonna dye your hair purple, and you're gonna drink almond milk. Bleh. Like that's how he felt, because like every time he talked about anything that was like um close to being something that was like not anti-woke or whatever, he shied away from it. Like this is like why like he's like nervous about women in video games and all this other stuff. Like he faints at the sign of boobs, because he thinks that like the woke attitude is women should be covered up, and there should not be any sexualization at all, when all it is like women should be written like characters, and they should not be seen as like objects, like, like that kind of shit. Like like you can look at like Mary Jane in Spider-Man 2. Like I think the character looks fine. I think a lot of people are overreacting to that. What's recent? There was something recent that people were like crashing out about, and I was like, and I thought the character looked fine. Can't think of it now. Damn, I'm blanking on this. And I think I was like talking about like last week, or I saw it like whatever. But like people are like made these complaints, and it's like when you look at it, it's like it looks fine. Like you don't have to like it. I'm not saying that you have to like clap, but it's like people are like look at something and saying, "Oh my god, this thing is like is ugly as sin," and it's like an average looking person that looks fine. Like it's like they want like a supermodel and everything. It's like we don't. That doesn't need to happen. Like that's more of the conversation people are having when it comes to sexuality and sexuality in games and shit like that. Not like, oh my god, they have cleavage, ew. But DSP interprets that discourse as, yeah, women should not show boobs at all, and they should only be platonic, and you should never have romance in games. Like that's his like reaction to it, when that's like not what's going on.
Someone who just wants to be accepted by everyone. I need to be so politically correct. That's ridiculous. What a way to go through life, to worry about every moment that you're actually.
Again, it's not that hard to not be an asshole. Like DSP's acting as if everyone who's not saying the R word is like saying like, oh god, I can't see it, I don't want to say it. Like if you're having such a hard time not saying the R word, then that's straight up a you problem. Like, come on.
Doing something, you're walking on eggshells because you're so afraid that
Dude, that's how you talk to DSP. You can't talk to DSP normally. Every single person that typed in his chat that said, Phil, I think you're being an idiot. He's like, I'm not a fucking idiot. You're banned. Like, he crashes out on people way more than an SJW does. I think an SJW has thicker skin than Phil. And I'm talking about the most like extreme like the type of SJW other woke people don't want to be around. Like that kind of person has thicker skin than Phil.
is going to be offended by something you do. What?
What?
You crazy?
Again, look at any crash out where someone said something reasonable, and look how dudes reacted to it. Look at Lavinia. All Lavinia did in the first crash out was say, Phil, there are fans in the PC, and DSP yelled at her and said that you're a piece of shit and you're a dumb fucking bander. And then when she wanted to apologize, he crashed out again over her. A dude called him cringe and he couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle being called cringe. A dude said, "Phil, you're cringe," and DSP told me to eat a spoon out of his ass. That entire rant was just got triggered for being told he was cringe, and he is yelling at people for crashing it over a slur. Think about that. And he did not apologize to that guy. No, he didn't. Don't think it. He never did. He never did. And
Anyway,
the guy's
sorry
now
about
a
my rant.
troll.
I'll still hang out with you guys for a few more minutes here.
Sorry for that rant. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna watch it anymore because I think that's all I want to deal with. Let's see what he's doing today. He's supposedly playing this, but PSN is down, supposedly. Oh. Battle! Okay. What's the vibe here? $55. Oh, not a good start for Marvel. Let's look at the cold open like I like to do. Let's vibe check the cold open because it's a podcast day. Where's the podcast intro? Oh my god. Here we go. Today's show starts now. By the way, fun fact, DSP stole Raw's little gimmick. Raw Phil, if you watch this, like, he would unlist the stream afterwards, right? I've been noticing DSP used to just private the stream immediately. Now he unlists the stream. Very interesting.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, remember this show? Yeah, that's right.
It's so funny. I kind of wanted to do a talking video about this, but if you look at, because this week of morning shows convinced me. There is no fundamental difference between the Level 1 podcast and the morning show. And because a lot of the time, the runtime before, it used to be the morning show was a 30-minute show. And then that became an hour-long show. And as always, that has now become an hour and like 10 minutes, hour 20 minutes, really whatever. The runtime between the Level 1 podcast and the morning show are basically equivalent. They're basically the same show. That's what I learned from this week, because he had news topics that, remember when news topics used to be only for podcasts? Yeah, if there's a news topic, I say that for the podcast. And now he does news segments in the morning show. So what really is the difference between the Level 1 podcast? Well, I can tell you. It's only to end the week and to start the week and maybe have one in between. But that's all it serves. But other than that, they're both the same show, which surprises nobody. And DSP has openly said that he only made the morning show as a way to shut up people who said that, you do the podcast too much, probably. Like, he does these bitch-ass things that he would probably accuse the people who decide the R word is a slur, dude. The same kind of logic. Yeah, you think my pre-stream's wrong? Okay, it's a podcast now. Okay, dude.
It's time for the return of the Level 1 podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been streaming for 9 straight days without a break. It's been an interesting streak, that's to say the least.
I love he's acting as if like he was streaming like constantly, but it's the same amount of streams, just 9 days. Whoa.
A lot has happened. Playthroughs have ended and begun. Games have been invaded and trolled. We've opened tons of boxes of cards.
Oh, now we're like hyping up the trolling in Dark Souls 2. Because before he was like saying it was such a terrible thing and fucked up. Now it's cool and fun. Probably because he got a view bump. Because of the trolls. Isn't it funny that trolls help his views?
There's a lot that has happened in the last week and a half. And on today's show, we're going to get you all caught up because it's been a long time since we talked on this show. And I want to have everyone up to speed because next week we got a lot of interesting things going on.
It's kind of dumb that he's like, I'm going to summarize what I did this week when every single show of the morning show and the daily wrap have summarized what he did. And we're going to summarize again, like we
I
always
want you to be
do,
aware of.
on the Level
So,
1 podcast.
how you doing? Hopefully you've been doing good. I would think that most people who only watch this podcast would have been like, there hasn't been one in a long time, and checked out my other content, but you never know. So today, let's do it. Let's get caught up. All right? It's going to be
Look
a good
how much
one.
fake
Of
hype
course,
this
today
podcast
is
has.
also the release of Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls on every platform in open beta form.
Except for Switch 2.
I don't know if this is going to be good. It is a brand new fighting game.
Oh my
As you
God.
know, I don't usually play brand new fighting games these days because they're
What?
very different from the games that
What? No. You have played every single new fighting game that came out, unless it's like an indie small time game, like the Avatar fighting game. This is such a loaded, bogus nonsense. Shut the fuck up. The only like new fighter he didn't play was City of the Wolves because he was scared of pro players and Guilty Gear. That's it. He has played Tekken 8, Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6. That's it. As far as like major games,
I grew up playing, and I'm very curious to see if this one's going to be anything that I'm interested in or worth my.
he's gonna play this at launch probably because it's fucking Marvel, okay? You got the star power. Secondly, he's only gonna play for like a week or two and then drop it because it's also bonus an Arc System game. Now, I don't think it's gonna be as like complex as Guilty Gear, and it is probably a little bit simplified, so he's probably not gonna like it for that. But it's very easy to master a game and outplay Phil. I mean, I'll just say it. Like, you'll see more impressive things done by the AI than by DSP.
Time. We're going to find out by the end of today. So, all of this and more. Sit back and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the end of the week, and it's time for the epic return of the Level 1 pod.
Is this, I want to say it's online,
Pumpkin bomb?
but I'm scared to ask.
Can you
Yeah,
supers in the
I don't
air,
see any
wonder?
names.
His timing's way off. Skyscraper? Oh, look at that!
Look at that!
He summons his glider in the air. It's
Whoa.
an instant air super.
Always gets what he wants.
He's gonna be the runaway projectile spammer. He's run away the whole round throwing the frick.
Oh my god. Dude, he is gonna use Marvel vs. Capcom terminology. Holy shit. Dude, he may even play this game like it's Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Because he never learns the modern fighters gameplay or anything. He just boils it down to a game, like an old game.
Can make completely sure
Projectile.
that you can't get back up.
Graphics are amazing. Like, they're super good looking, right? Like, I love the graphics
Yeah,
of the
it's
game.
Arc System, dude.
Okay.
Uh, does it?
Yeah, seriously, this will be LTG's favorite character. He's just gonna just go backwards and just toss fucking projectiles.
Oh wow, that's awesome. He first like praises the character for being a projectile, and now he's like mocking people for playing the character as a projectile character. Okay, yeah, that's awesome.
The whole round. That's exactly how this guy's built. So, thank you, Bilbo Swaggins, for 500 kicks. Can you go online into a match? We want to see you fight, and not in the menus. I don't know anything about any of the characters.
Oh my god, it is
I don't
offline
even understand
content.
how to use them.
Yeah, we're doing the first stream all offline. Second stream will be online. Maybe the last hour he's gonna do
So,
online.
I mean, if you really want me to, but I'm not going to win. Everyone's going to know what they're doing. I'm not going to know anything.
Oh my god, everyone's gonna win. Oh my god, I thought you don't care about winning. Oh my god.
All right. Casual match.
Oh, he's going online. Ah.
Play against other people before.
Okay.
I care about winning. I play daily. I practice combos. I have an understanding of the basics. I reach high rankings in other fighting games. There you go. I played against other people before.
Wait a minute. Hold up.
About winning. I play daily. I practice
I reached the highest tier rankings and other
combos.
Okay.
I have an understanding of the basics. I reach high rankings in other fighting games.
Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He picked the wrong thing. He picked the highest.
There you go.
There you go. He laughs, but now he's gonna match against people who actually play the game. I love that. That's great.
What happened? Frozen. An error occurred.
Does he not know PlayStation is down? I mean, sure, this is on Steam, so you're probably not gonna know that, but it is using Sony's like thing. Oh my god, he doesn't know. I
can't even boot into the game. I think the actual beta is down.
Oh no, he's gonna think it's the beta's fault when it's not. I don't think it's the beta's fault. I think it's Sony because it's affecting everything. It's not because if it was just the beta, it would just be the beta. But because apparently everything is down on PlayStation because it's awesome.
This all day and now I can't play it at all.
Now you would think to yourself, doesn't he have the game? Doesn't this beta last until Sunday? Why doesn't he, I don't know, schedule it for Sunday? No, idiot! He's playing other games that day. Why would he reschedule? No, and guess what, gang? He's gonna use this as an excuse to skip the game. Because DSP is mega awesome.
Yeah. This game, because Sony published it, you need to have a PlayStation account to play it on Steam, and you have to log in via that account and link it and everything. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, I think that's where I'm gonna end it. We're not gonna get a conclusion to this. But that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. We vibe checked this, but he's gonna not play online because I forgot the PSN thing is still down, and we don't know what's gonna happen. Hopefully he comes back up for Phil, but the whole service is down. It's because Sony is great. Thank you for watching. See ya in the next one. Bye.